Hi guys, welcome back to the Mina Does Art Stuff YouTube channel. My name is Mina and on this channel we do art stuff. So today I'm here with another sort of little um, paint with me video, a little chatty paint with me video. I found some vintage botanical paintings on Pinterest that are copyright free and I was really inspired by some of them, and so I picked one and decided to paint it. And sat down and just filmed it. I just wanted to paint some sort of like abstract florals inspired by some more traditional botanical artwork. And they were kind of a really open sort of rose. Technically, it was a kind of rose. I can't remember what kind it was, but these flowers have turned out looking a little bit more like poppies than a rose. Um, Overall, this piece started out pretty well, then kind of went a bit downhill around this point. So that was supposed to be like a opening bud, and it turned into this big ball of I don't know what over in the corner there. It definitely did not turn out how I wanted. But the bigger open bloom at the bottom, definitely that was my favorite one out of all. Um, the first one that I painted didn't turn out too bad initially, but then I dropped some water on it and I tried to fix it, and then it just sort of ruined it from there. It looked a little bit overworked at the end. So wasn't overly happy with how that turned out, but I had fun painting it and I definitely learned a lot from the process. Um, I also learned that my stems need to be a little bit thicker when I'm painting to this scale because, quite frankly, it looks a little bit ridiculous with those little thin, spindly stems and such massive blooms. So there was that lesson I learned. I do like the little buds. The little ones turned out okay. Those were fine. And so what I'm using today, the paint I'm using is my Turner watercolor palette that I set up recently. I wanted to play around with it a bit more, and I've actually been using it a lot recently, so that's great. I will link the playlist of videos I've done for the Turner watercolors below. Another thing that went wrong with this one is that I was leaving the main blooms for the to dry a little bit before I went in to add the center of the flowers, but I kind of let it dry too much, and then the yellow didn't spread into the red a little, which is what I wanted. And here I'm trying to fix that water I dropped, and it kind of just ruins that flower in my opinion. I mean, it's not bad, it's just not really how I wanted it. But it's okay. You learn. The brush I'm using, I believe, is a Da Vinci Casaneo size 0 mop brush, and I will also try and link that below. And then the paper I am using is Saunders Waterford 140 pounds cold press watercolor paper. That's an interesting story behind this paper, and so I guess since we have a chatty video, I have time to talk to you about it. Um, I say recently, a couple months ago now, I was browsing Facebook Marketplace. I occasionally browse Facebook Marketplace and eBay to see if there are any good deals on art supplies that people are getting rid of. And I found this woman who lived about an hour away was selling all of her watercolor paper. And she had tons of this Saunders Waterford cold pressed and rough pressed 100% cotton watercolor paper that she was selling because she was downsizing and they were moving to a smaller house and she didn't have space for it anymore. And there were all these full sheets which are huge, and she was selling them for such a steal of a price that I was like, I can't pass this up. So we drove down there one day and picked them up, and so this is just part of that stash of paper that I now have to work through. And yeah, it's been great to have an abundance of good quality paper to play around with. So another thing that I didn't entirely enjoy about this painting are the leaves. I definitely need to practice my more jagged leaf type. So with roses, roses typically have a serrated leaf edge. And whilst I wasn't going for full on realism, I kind of wanted it to have that unevenness to the edge of the leaves, and it just didn't really turn out how I wanted. Um, it sort of works in the end, but it's not ideal. I just need more practice, basically, is what it boils down to, and that's fine. Overall, though, I'm not too upset with how this piece turned out. It just wasn't quite what I'd had in mind. And you can see at the edge of the inspiration picture on my phone there I was holding in my hand, so you'd be able to like reference it. Yeah, overall, I enjoyed painting this. Not completely happy with the outcome, but I had fun, and that was the most important thing. One thing I did realize during this painting was that I was missing having a really sort of dark blue on this palette. So I typically have like a Payne's grey or an indigo on my watercolor palettes because I like having a nice dark, moody blue color. And the Payne's grey that I kind of really like are the more blue leaning versions. And I had hoped when I ordered the paints from Turner that the Maya dark blue from Turner would be, or the Maya blue, I can't remember now what it's called, would be a lot darker than it is. But the Mayan dark blue in the Turner's watercolor is more reminiscent of the Daniel Smith Mayan blue genuine, which is a lighter shade than the Daniel Smith Mayan dark blue, um, which I which I thought was going to be more what this one is. It's not a bad shade at all. I really like that shade of blue, mine blue genuine shade, and so the shade of the paint that I do have, but it's not the dark sort of inky indigo blue that I was expecting it to be. So as such, I kind of missed having that really dark blue, and since having done this painting, I've added a small half pan of Winsor& and Newton's indigo to the palette. I've just sort of like just plopped it in there in the corner. And so now I have that in addition to this palette as well, because I don't always want to necessarily mix black into my paints. I really like Mars Black as like an effects paint because it, whatever color you mix it with, it creates some really lovely granulation. But that's not always what I want. So yeah, I've added an indigo to this palette since I filmed this video. And yeah, this video was really where I realized that I missed having a nice dark blue. Anyway, here I am just adding some details to the leaves at the end of this painting. I added some little lines and shading and stuff for the actual blooms to kind of give them a bit more definition. Especially that big open one on the left there, it's just kind of lost all definition when I had to go back over to try and fix the water drop that had landed on it. So, it looks a little bit better now with a bit more definition. And yeah, so here I am just finishing up these leaves. I just wanted to quickly say if you enjoyed this video and enjoy videos like this, then please consider subscribing to my channel and you will then get to see all my other videos as they come up. I have lots of fun videos planned and all of that. So I hope you enjoy this video. You should be able to find links for all of the materials that I've used in this video down below. Oh, and right now I'm using my Skoda Perla size 2 brush for the details. All right, thank you so much for joining me today. I will see you guys again soon. Take care. Bye.